Hey Bestie, it's Lisa. Welcome or welcome back. In today's episode, we're going to make Dollar Tree coastal DIYs. I've got napkins, a book page, and then this Dollar Tree sign. Now, first thing I'm going to do is separate the plies on the napkin, and I usually put a piece of masking tape on the edge just to make sure I can grab it. Make sure it's 2 or 3 plies, that way you know how many layers to remove. Then I'm just going to iron the fabric, flatten it out, and cut out the book page and get rid of those edges. I'm going to paint the top of the sign white because I want to cover up the butterfly. Even though it's cute, I really don't need it for this particular project. So that's all done. I'm going to leave the sides because they were cute like shiplap, and I'm going to put Mod Podge over the whole thing just to seal it in. Before it dries, I'm going to set the book page right on there, and then I'll cut off the bottom edge so I get the same border around the whole thing. And so while it's wet, I can just easily set down that page and just kind of push it on lightly with my fingers. I didn't want to use the brayer, and I didn't have saran wrap handy to grab to put over the top. Now I'm going to fussy cut out this starfish and then also a seashell that's on the napkin. And once I get them cut off, I'm going to go ahead and, trim around them and make sure it's just those items that you see. You definitely need a sharp pair of scissors to do this. Otherwise, you could snag the napkin and rip it, because now that you've removed the plies, it is super, super thin. But this is a beautiful napkin, and I love it. I'm going to take some antique wax by Waverly, and I'm going to go around and dry brush the edges and the sides and a little bit over the top. I just want to give it, a little bit of an older feel, and just putting a little bit on my brush, wiping most of it off and dragging it across. Now I am going to add more Mod Podge to the top because I'm going to be placing those pieces that I cut off. I'm going to take the straight edge sides and put them on the edge so it almost looks like it's going over the edge. And then I'll do the other one up in the corner. And then I'll also put another layer of Mod Podge over the top to seal it in and just make sure that everything's on there. I'm loving this look of the book page with the translucent kind of napkin over it. What a cool look. And it's so perfect for a coastal piece, or any piece actually, as long as you're going for something that's a little bit on the distressed side. I think it looks really, really good. I'm going to take some rope, and I get this particular rope at Walmart because they have the best price, and I'm going to put it all the way around the sides from the top to the bottom just to give it, again, more of that coastal feel. I love the way this turned out. Hey, if you're not already subscribed, I hope you'll do so because I'd love to see you in future videos. Anyway, I love this one. I'm so happy with how it turned out. You will have to let me know what you think. Look how pretty that is, seeing through the napkins to the book pages. Have you ever tried something like this? Let me know. For the napkin hack, I've got this beautiful anchor napkin. It is so cute. Anyway, what I'm going to do is remove the plies like I always do, and then I'm going to take this little crate from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use it and the starfish that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to paint the front of this crate and kind of the little edges and middle parts with the white paint that I have. It's actually, you can use any white paint that you want. And then I'm going to cover it with some Mod Podge, and I'm using matte. You can use whichever kind you like. I'm going to dry that off because I'm going to show you a really cool technique for this. So once it's dry, I'm going to lay the one ply of the napkin and a piece of parchment paper over it. I'm going to use an iron, and I'm just going to iron over that, and it's going to adhere perfectly to the wood. I love that. And then I'll take a little piece of sandpaper and just in a downward motion go around the edges and get rid of any of the excess napkin. And it really does clean it up. Hey, if you're not already on Pinterest, or even if you are, come join me. I started posting every day, and I can't wait to see you over there. I've got a link down in my description box for you. All right, so now I'm just going to finish getting those edges off, and then I'm going to take a sharp blade and go in and get the remaining pieces that are in between the little slats on the mini crate piece. Just take your time. Just go in and make sure the blade's very sharp, and just very quickly it'll just come off. You can also use sandpaper to get any rough edges if you want, but make sure it's dry when you do that. Now once I'm done, I'm going to add another layer of Mod Podge over the top because I just want to seal it in, and then any little ripped edges will be nice and smooth when you do that. Just a good way to finish it off and seal it. Now I'm going to use some hot glue, and I'm just going to put the starfish on the left side there, kind of cover up that little portion of an anchor that I'm not going to be able to see really anyway. And I just thought, you know what, that's a perfect spot for it because I didn't want to cover up the good anchor. And then I'm going to take some greenery. I found this greenery at the Dollar Tree, and it actually has a little bit of a seaweed look. So I'm just going to cut off some pieces, put them in there just around the star, just around the starfish. And that's it for this one. It is so cute. I think it would be adorable. Now, if you had like 4 of these, you could actually turn these into coasters, but I left the twine hanger on there because I thought it would also be cute to hang up. But you know what? That's a personal choice. Do whatever you think fits with your decor or just your space. Just finish adding that greenery on there, and there's the finished piece. I think it's so cute. I really love how it turned out. Let me know what you think, and have you decoupaged onto something with slats before? For this Dollar Tree napkin hack, I've got this beautiful kind of mermaid napkin, and then I've got an empty conditioner canister that I had. And I'm just going to pull off the label. It came off very easily. I'm going to take some masking tape and remove the extra ply here. Makes it so much easier. Now, I did struggle a little bit with this one because I ripped it, but if you don't, it comes out very nice and easy. Just take your time so the whole napkin doesn't rip. Now I'm just going to cut off the portion with the design on it because that's all I really want for this one. I'm going to take some Mod Podge, and I'm just going to paint it directly onto the conditioner bottle. And I'm going to line up the napkin, and I'm just going to put it on. Now, it happened to be just the perfect size. Otherwise, I would have had to trim it down or layer it. And I'm just going to do it in little sections because I don't want it to wrinkle or bubble. So I'm just going to very carefully do a little bit at a time and go all the way around the container. When I get to the end, I'm just going to cut off the excess. Now I'm just going to add some more Mod Podge and make sure that where the 2 pieces meet, it's very secure. And I'm actually going to put Mod Podge around the entire thing just to seal it. Now I'm just going to take a blade and go around the top and just carefully make sure that I can get any excess off. I went very slow. The napkin is just so fragile. You just have to be super careful. And I didn't want to sand this because it's plastic, and I thought it would show the little scuff marks. So there it is. Now I'm going to paint that top in some white chalk paint because I just didn't like the way it looked just with the clear kind of plastic. It's not really clear actually, but sort of clear plastic. So I went ahead and did that, and then I sealed that as well. Now I've got these pop-up stickers from the Dollar Tree. I haven't used these for a while, but I do love them. They had 2 different sizes, so this is the larger of the 2 sizes. And I'm just going to put them around the top for decoration. So I'm going to do like a clock. If I do it that way, then I can always fill in the gaps between and it comes out even. If I try placing them next to each other, I never get it right. So this to me is the best way to make sure you place them and space them evenly. There were little like water bubbles on the side, so I took the smaller version of those little pop-up stickers and I attached those with hot glue to wherever there was a little bubble. Just give it a little 3D feel. I thought this would be really cute for a soap container in the bathroom. It's just adorable, and it was super easy, and it's a great way to not waste something or throw it into the landfill if that's something that matters to you. You have to let me know what you think of this one. For this Dollar Tree napkin hack, I've got this adorable More Beach, Less Worry napkin. I love it. And then I found these soaps at TJ Maxx. So it was like 5 or 6 of them for, I think, $3.99. I thought that was a really good price, especially for using them for like crafting. So I'm just going to cut up the napkin after I remove the plies the same way I usually do with the masking tape. And I'm going to cut out a turtle. I love these turtles. They're so cute. So once I get it cut, I'm going to fussy cut around all of the pieces, you know, around the edges of the turtle very carefully. Find when I fussy cut, it's better to turn the paper or whatever I'm cutting than the scissors. It actually helps you not accidentally cut something off. And I'm not saying I've never done that, but I try not to. And by moving the paper or the item you're cutting, it really does help minimize that issue. So just a little tip if you didn't already know that. So now that I've got the turtle cut out, I'm going to take one of the bars of soap, and I did decide to use the green one. I thought that would look really pretty. There was just a couple of different shades in here of purple and green. So I removed the plastic, and I'm just going to place the turtle on top of it. And I'm going to use my iron to kind of melt the soap a little bit and then make the turtle stay, at least initially. I will cover it with Mod Podge afterwards. This won't be a bar of soap that we'll use. It'll be decorative and it smells really nice, and you can just set it in your bathroom with other decorative things, and I love the way it smells. So there it is, and I didn't get the sides very well. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the Mod Podge to push that down. And I'm using matte. I don't want this shiny or anything. And I'll just make sure I get a little bit under those pieces that stuck up a little and over the top of all of it. I just thought it was so cute, and you could use any shape soap that you want. I had a couple bubbles, so I took a little blade and just kind of popped them and then laid it back down with some more Mod Podge, and that really did the trick. To dry the whole thing off. That'll also help it adhere a little bit more, especially if it melts the soap without really making it look melted. But there it is. I think it's adorable. It was so easy and so cute. If you were going to put some soaps in a gift basket or something, this would be a fun way to kind of dress them up. Have you ever attached anything to a bar of soap before? Let me know what you think about this one. For this Dollar Tree fabric hack, I'm going to take these 3 rings, the brass rings that the Dollar Tree has, and then I've got this cute sailboat fabric, I've got these sand dollars, and then I've got some deco mesh from Dollar Tree that I thought was really pretty and goes with this. So there's my piece of fabric. I'm going to cut a teeny spot and then rip, and that's the best way to get those nice frayed edges. So I'm actually going to do 2 of those. Rip's so easy when you do that. I'm going to tie the 3 rings together and then put a dab of hot glue up there to just kind of hold it in place. And I'm doing this because I don't want them to move around. And because I've got that piece of twine there, I can turn that into a hanger as well, which is just perfect. So as long as you got a long enough piece, you can do that. And then I always add a little bit of hot glue just to secure my knots. I don't know why I do that. I guess it's a trust issue. Anyway, now I'm going to take the strips. I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to do a strip going down that center area. And I'm just going to hot glue it on there and secure it on all the little spots where the rings are to make sure that it won't move around at all. And I'll kind of create a little hem on the bottom there with the glue, and then I'll just make sure that it's attached nicely to the back there. Once that's done, I'm going to do 2 more on the sides, which you'll see here in just a minute. I'm going to do it the exact same way. Then I'm going to take the deco mesh and I'm going to cut several pieces. They'll all be the same length. And I'm going to use this to make a bow. And I know those edges of the deco mesh are kind of weird and they can ravel, but I'm just going to let it be. I'm also going to cut a piece of this red and white fabric from the Dollar Tree by cutting a slit and ripping it also. But I do need to cut it down. It was a little bit too long for what I wanted. So I'm going to crisscross the deco mesh pieces that I cut, and then I'm going to cinch it in the middle and tie it with some twine. And then I can fluff the sides of the bow any way that I want because it's pretty flexible. Then I'm going to take the red and white fabric and I'm going to do the same kind of thing. I'm just going to crisscross them, cinch it in the middle, and I'm going to add it to the center of that other one and use the twine that was left over on the edges and just tie that on as well. And I will cut off the excess of the twine. Then I'm going to hot glue that bow right to the top where the knot is, where it's holding the 3 rings together. And I'm going to hot glue the sand dollar in the middle. I am going to dovetail the ends of the fabric pieces because I think that will look really nice. So just fold them in half and cut an inverted triangle, and that gives us our tuxedo tails or dovetails. There goes the sand dollar right in the center. And then I'm going to add some greenery. I'm just going to take some little pieces, and then you can use any greenery you like. I got this on Amazon. And I'm just going to hot glue the little ends onto each of the fabric pieces just to add some greenery down there. I just felt like it needed something. Of course, that's optional. If you don't like it, don't do it. Nobody has to do it the way I do it. This is just for inspiration, and I hope that you come up with ways that you even love more. But that's it for this one. Just a kind of fun coastal wreath, something a little different, but I liked it. I like trying new things and, just seeing what you can make with what you have at home. For this Dollar Tree fabric DIY hack, I've got 2 different fabrics, one with anchors and the red and white fabric. And I printed out this anchor. I had to sand quite a bit to get that glitter and the raised up, portion of that off. And then I'm going to cover this with several coats of the plaster chalk paint by Waverly. I love the little shiplap on it, but I wasn't going to be able to cover up the rest very easily. So got that all done, and then I'm just going to lightly sand so that there's no rough spots on it, very lightly. I don't want the paint to actually come off. I'm going to cut out this anchor, and it took a few minutes, but that's okay because that's what we need to create this piece. I'm going to put the anchor on the back of the anchor fabric and cut around it. I'm also going to iron the fabric. There's the red and white fabric, just getting that ready to go. We're going to make a smaller version and a larger version. So here I am pinning that on so it doesn't move around. And what I'm going to do is take a little marker, a fine tip marker, and I'm going to trace around. This is on the back side of the fabric. And I did check and it did not bleed through to the front. So make sure you have the kind that won't bleed. So there it is, all traced. I'm going to do the same thing with the red and white, but I'm going to trace around it a little bit larger. I cut them both out, and what we're going to do is put down the red and white one first and then the anchor one on top of it so it's layered. So I'm going to use Mod Podge to go ahead and lay that over the entire wood round, and then I will lay down first the red and white one, which is the larger one, and I'll make sure it's positioned and smooth right down on the surface. This is so pretty. It's patriotic, but it's also coastal, so you could use it whenever you want. I'm going to lay down Mod Podge just over the fabric, and then I'm going to put the second anchor on there that's smaller, and that way you can see the red peeking through, and then the blue and white anchors on the top. I love this fabric. I think it's gorgeous. I'm going to cover the whole thing with some more Mod Podge to seal it in. Then I'm going to take the Waverly Ocean Chalk Paint. I'm going to paint those beads. I took them off, and now I'm just going to add them right back on to the back. So I'll just put it through the holes, and then I will use hot glue and masking tape on the back like I usually do when I put hangers on. Felt like it needed another pop of color up there. Otherwise, it was just that plain wood, which I don't mind sometimes, but this time I felt like I wanted it to have color. And now I thought, okay, let's add a little bit of greenery. You don't have to. If this is just the way you want it, you absolutely don't have to. But I decided to just put some down at the very bottom, where it's even. Whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. And I just love greenery on things. I think it makes it look so pretty. And it kind of gives it a lifelike feel. I'm going to take a seashell from Dollar Tree. I'm going to put it right in the center to cover up the edges. And that is it. It was so easy, so fun. The hardest part is cutting out the anchor, and that's not hard. It just took a few minutes, put on a video, and there you go. Let me know what you think. For this Dollar Tree fabric DIY hack, I've got this beautiful tag that's got coral on it, and it's got like corkboard. I love that. I'm going to use the sand dollar and the seahorse fabric, which is so cute. I'm going to cut a little slit and rip a piece or two from that. I probably took more than I needed because when it came down to it, I just didn't use that much. So what I end up doing is cutting it in half, and just keep cutting it until the size that I wanted. And I'm going to take 4 pieces and just kind of crisscross them. Then I'm going to take the deco mesh and I'm going to cut several pieces, and I'm just going to cinch it and create like little bows. Now I'm going to show you, this one is a little different. So I'm going to fold the end over and then kind of squish it together and then turn it around and fold the other end over. I'm trying to get rid of those edges that fray. And it works better this way than the way I did it before, but you know what? It's still a little bit got the edges, but I'm okay with that. I just wanted that cute little bow look. So what I did was I tied that one on and then I added 3 more. And so I just keep adding them and crisscrossing them, and it ends up looking like such a cute bow. And it's very poofy, and I like that. So now we're going to put some glue, turn it over, and add it to the upper right-hand side. Then I'm going to crisscross my little seahorse fabric pieces, and I'm just going to put some twine around it, tie that off, and I'm going to glue that to the very center of the deco mesh. Now I am going to add a few more pieces, but it was so thick I had to like do them a couple pieces at a time. So I'm just tying those onto the back, and then I'm just going to fluff it up so that you can see all the little seahorses, and I will hot glue that right to the center of the bow. I love that little pop of color, and I'm going to add this really pretty orange seashell from Dollar Tree right to the center. And then I've got some greenery pieces that I'm just going to glue and kind of stick around the outside of the bow. Just going to do 4 of them. It's optional, of course. You could add less, you could add more. You don't have to put it in at all. I just love that greenery look. I think it's so pretty. And this would be such a cute place to, you know, hang your reminders or whatever. Just, you know, a little mini bulletin board, especially if you like coastal decor, which I do in my bedroom. Anyway, this turned out adorable. It was very quick and easy to make. I mean, it took no time at all. And look how beautiful it is. Let me know what you think. DIY hack. I'm just going to take a round bamboo ring. You could actually use a wreath form, whatever you want that's round, as long as it will fit a clothespin on it. The metal fish decor and some sand dollars and starfish and a seashell, all from Dollar Tree, and then nautical rope, that's the white color. I've also got some seashells from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use plaster and peacock Waverly chalk paint. Now I'm going to take each of, these are the larger clothespins, by the way. I'm going to take them and I'm going to put them all the way around the ring. And I didn't finish it because I want to leave a spot for the fish. You could go all the way around, but it's easier to attach the fish if you don't. I'm going to take the peacock paint. I'm going to paint all over except for the back of these clothespins. And you could use any size clothespins you want. I just happened to have some big ones I wanted to use. I decided to go with the silverfish instead because I actually think it looks better. I'm just going to hot glue down the little hanger because we don't need that. I'm going to cut a couple pieces of twine. I'm going to hot glue them to the inside of the fish in the center. You'll see what I'm going to do here in just a moment. And then I will be able to tie it on to this wreath. I wanted to have a nice way to secure it, and I'm also going to put some tape over that twine to hold it in place even more so. Now I'm going to turn the wreath over and I'm going to position the fish right where I want it. And then I will pull that twine through and tie it in the back in a knot and then trim off the edges. And that's just going to hold this very nicely in place for us. You could also use pipe cleaners if you want. I just didn't have them right on my craft table and I had this twine, so I just grabbed it. But anything that would work would be just fine. And then I'm going to add some hot glue over the knots because I just like to do a little extra security there to make sure it stays in place. Now I'm going to add a hanger while I'm here. Now I'm going to take this 3-cord nautical rope and I'm going to make it a 2-cord rope. It was just a little too thick. So there you go. I'm going to hot glue the ends so that they don't fray and it's just a little easier to work with. I'm going to start at one end and I'm going to do like swirls up and down, kind of like every other clothespin. You'll see just here in a moment how I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that all the way around till I get to the other side of the fish. I love the way that looks, so nautical, so coastal. I'm just going to attach the end, tuck it under the clothespin. Now I'm going to take the little starfish and I'm going to add some hot glue, and I'm just going to put that on that kind of bottom right area next to the fish there. And I'm just looking at where it's going to touch, and that's where I put the glue. Otherwise, you know, there's no putting extra glue. And then I'm going to add seashells kind of in those little loops, but like alternating up and down, except for the one seashell that's longer. And I think this turned out gorgeous. What an easy, beautiful coastal wreath. How fun is this using clothespins? Let me know what you think. DIY, I've got 16 blocks and this "See You at the Beach" light up sign, and they're all from the Dollar Tree. It's got one of those little tea light candle thingies in there. And then I've got these ceramic stars from the Dollar Tree. They always bring them out right before summer. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use hot glue to make this to show you, but you can certainly use wood glue as well. I'm going to put 6 pieces together, and I'm going to make them 1, 2, 3 across, 1, 2, 3 across, and then attach them together. And I'm going to do 2 of those, which gives you a total of 12 pieces. Do you see that right there? Now I'm going to take those and I'm going to put them along the bottom longer sides of this piece from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to hot glue them directly to the bottom. If you want this to be taller, add another row. If you want it to be shorter, then only do 1 row. That's up to you. I'm now attaching the second side. This one is so easy. I'm trying to come up with ways to use the blocks where I don't have to build an entire thing, but just use them to accent something. So now I'm going to take 2 blocks, glue them together on the long, narrow sides, and then attach them to the 2 sides of this, making like a rectangular shape to be like a riser for this sign. I'm going to use my agave chalk paint from Waverly, and I'm just going to paint the whole outside of these blocks. This is one of my favorite summer colors to use. It's so pretty. Then I'm going to take some white paint, any white paint you want, and I'm just going to paint the inside and outside of the stars. There's 2 stars that hold this piece together and the little connectors. I didn't bother doing the inside of the base because nobody will see it, but you certainly can. Now I'm going to take my starfish. I'm going to hot glue it directly to the right side. Again, left side, right side, doesn't matter. I'm going to reinforce it a little on the back. And then I thought I wanted to look like a starfish. So I'm going to take my pumpkin colored chalk paint, because it's not like a bright orange. I'm going to water it down by putting some water on my brush and start dabbing on it until I get the shade of orange that I think looks the most like a starfish. And you can see it's just happening little by little. I'm just doing very light coats until it gets there. And I love that. I think it looks so much more real that way. Again, you can leave it white if that's your style. I found this greenery at the Dollar Tree. I don't know what it is because of the clear kind of plastic edges. It almost looks like seaweed. So I just glued some on towards the left, and then I added 1 more piece just above because I felt like that made it look like it was in the water more, kind of flowy, if you know what I mean. Add as much or as little as you like, and there it is. I love how this turned out. You could style it any way you want. And then I'm going to also show you what it looks like with the light on. Let me know what you think. Tower block DIY, I'm going to use 18 blocks. And what we're going to do is make a stand for these 2 coastal pieces that I got at Dollar Tree. One is just a round sand dollar with the gold, and one is a fish with the gold. And you'll see what I'm going to do to those in a minute. So first things first, we're going to start with the Jenga blocks. And I'm going to start gluing them together on the shorter, thinner sides. I guess not the shorter, but the thinner sides. And so what we're going to do is put 2 and 2 together and then attach the 2 to each other. Now we're going to start stacking them one on another and gluing them. So we're going to make 2 stacks, 1 on each side at the same height, and they're going to each have 6 blocks. Now I did both of those, and then we're going to attach them right to the back side of the other 4 that we had already assembled. So you can see here it's starting to look like a little stand. You could make this as tall or as short as you want, depending on what you're going to put on it and how much weight it needs to bear. If it's something very heavy, you might even want to double up that back row. Now I'm going to take the 2 remaining blocks and on that thinner side, put them standing up in the front. And now that creates a little gap, which is the place where we're going to put what we're making. So the first thing I'm going to do is, with a lot of hot glue, very generous, put that fish on this gold sand dollar. Now, there's probably a better glue you could use, but for the purpose of the video, I use hot glue. I would recommend something more permanent like E6000, something along those lines. Now I'm going to paint the entire stand with my agave paint by Waverly. Again, one of my favorite paint colors they make, and perfect for summer or coastal themed DIYs. And there it is. And now I'm going to take this rub and buff. It's like an antique gold, and I'm going to rub it all over the fish to tone down how shiny it is, because we've already got the sand dollar really shiny. We don't need the fish as well. So you can see what a difference that made. Anyway, I really love that. I love how this looks. You could put anything in the stand that it could hold, and what a fun DIY. Let me know what you think. Tree towel hack. I've got this Catch Me by the Sea towel. I love that sea turtle. And then I've got this old picture frame that I had. I've got my agave paint by Waverly. I'm going to paint the frame in the agave, and I just did 2 light coats, and that was perfect for this. I'm going to take my plaster color chalk paint, and I'm going to dry brush it over the top. And so I'm just going to put a little on my brush, wipe most of it off, and then drag it across the surface till I get the look that I want. And I love this look for coastal. I think it just kind of creates a beachy feel to it. I'm going to take some Mod Podge and seal that in because I don't want it to like chip off or, kind of get cracked. I'm going to cut out just the turtle on this towel. So first I'll just cut out the piece, and then I'll fussy cut around him and just get the entire turtle's body as close as I can to the turtle. There it is. I'm also going to take some of the rest of this fabric from the towel that has the seaweed on it, and I'm just going to figure out the size of a piece by folding it over when I set it inside the frame and cutting there, and that's going to be my background for the picture. Now, this particular backing of the frame doesn't come off. It stays on one side, so you have to be really careful. So I'm going to put some hot glue on there and take that piece, make sure it's the right direction when I put it back, and just attach that to the backing and then cut off any excess. Now I'm going to position the turtle, and some of it's going to hang over because it is a little big, and I'm going to start gluing it, kind of side by side, just a little bit at a time, just to make sure I get it on there. Once I have it on there, I will cut off the excess that is hanging over. This is a very easy project. I'll just seal the frame, and then I'll turn it over so you can take a look at how this is turning out. Isn't that so sweet? This would look really cute in a coastal bathroom or bedroom, wherever you have coastal things. It just turned out beautiful, and I just love it. And honestly, how easy was that? For this Dollar Tree towel hack, I've got kind of like a kitchen towel, and it says, "See you at the beach," and I just love this one. It's so cute. And then I've got this plastic cutting board from the Dollar Tree. I've also got these furniture tacks that I ordered on Amazon. I'm going to use 4 of those. So first thing is I'm just going to cut down this towel by putting the cutting board over it just to get a kind of general idea of size. It won't be exactly this, but we want to work with less to, just to start off with. Now I'm going to press it with my mini press. Of course, you can just use a regular iron because it's got that fold. I'm going to trim off that kind of camel colored piece at the bottom, and then I'm going to trim it at the top because I really just want this to kind of float in the middle of the cutting board. So I'm going to position it on there. I did cut off the sides already, and it looks perfect. Now I'm going to Mod Podge it on. So I'm just going to start at the top, and then I'm going to get the Mod Podge on there at the very top, position my piece, and then add the rest of the Mod Podge. On larger pieces, I love to do them in sections. So then I will be able, when it won't move out of place right now, it'll just stay right where I want it to. And I'll add the rest of the Mod Podge and then press down the towel. Get rid of any wrinkles or bubbles by doing this. And then I'll also use my brayer to make sure it's making 100% contact with the cutting board. I'm going to cover it with some more Mod Podge because I do want to seal this in, not because I'm going to use it for food or cutting, but because I just want it to really be on there and I don't want the fabric to fray. I'm going to cut off very carefully the little pointy parts of the tacks because they're too long. And then I'm going to glue them on and hammer them in so they do attach slightly. And I do it in all 4 corners. I just think that looks so cool. Then I'm going to take this pick from the Dollar Tree that has sort of a seaweed look. I know it's not seaweed. And I'm going to make a swag at the top. So the same thing I do on one side, I will do with the other, and I'm going to hot glue them on. And I thought that looked pretty. And then I'm going to take a seashell, which came from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to hot glue it right in the center there to cover up the end of the stems. And I'll tack down any leaves that were blocking words or whatever. And there you go. How pretty is that? I think that could go in any room of the house. It would also look so cute in the kitchen because it is a cutting board. But you'll have to let me know, what do you think? Kitchen towel hack. Actually, I think this is a bathroom towel, really. I've got this shell-shaped wooden frame from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to cut out the part that says Sunshine State of Mind. And I'm going to fussy cut that all the way around the words. Now, I don't want to use that square hole in it for a frame, so I'm going to take out the wooden piece. And it's so thin, I'm going to use my scissors and cut around and make it slightly smaller. And then what I want to do is be able to set it inside there and from the back and hot glue it in so it brings the front up to flush with the rest of the wood. I hope that makes sense. And I did add the paper back just to cover that up. So you see how it's now flush with the front so the whole thing can lay on it. I'm going to take some pieces from that towel that we just cut the words off of and put this beautiful kind of like seaweed on the back. So I'm just going to use my Mod Podge and attach that with the Mod Podge. So I'll take one piece and then the other just to create a beautiful background. And then I'll take the other piece and do the same thing. Then I'm going to take the part that has the words on it, and that's going to get hot glued right to the center of this. And I'm just being really careful to get the glue on there without pulling up the threads. So I'm just centering that the best that I can. And then I'm going to put some of the twine around that piece that has the words on it, just to make it stand out a little bit more. Next, we're going to cut off all the excess. So I'll be using scissors and a blade to do that because some of the little pieces you can't get your scissors into. So you just go nice and slow and make sure your blade is very sharp. And that way we can see the shell shape when we're all done. Now I'm going to add some twine around the outside of that to help define that seashell shape and so it's more visible. This one was very easy. Super cute. This could be really fun to do with your grandkids or kiddos too, I think, because it's very easy. And just going to take a little bit of those pics that remind me of seaweed and just put some on the bottom just to give it a little more interest. And I'm going to take another seashell from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to hot glue that right in the middle of the greenery just to finish it off. So it's a seashell with a little seashell on it. Anyway, I think it's super cute. I love the colors. So pretty. These towels are gorgeous. I hope you can find them. Let me know what you think. DIY, I've got this cute little wooden picture with a turtle on it, and I love the beaded handle. I'm going to take this napkin. I believe I got the napkin at, I want to say it was Hobby Lobby quite a long time ago, but you can find really good coastal napkins just about anywhere that they sell them. I'm going to use a piece of tape to separate. This is a 3-ply, so there's going to be 2 pieces behind that pattern piece, and using a piece of masking tape is a really quick way to do it. Now I'm just going to lay the napkin over and see how much I actually need. And it works out that I actually only need like a quarter of that napkin. I'm going to take some Mod Podge and paint it over just the turtle. Now once I've got that on there, I'm going to lay that napkin right over the top, spread it with my fingers a little bit, and use my brayer to flatten it out. Now, while it's still wet, you have a couple options here. You can just rip around the edges very carefully by pushing down on the part that, is going to be staying, but sometimes that pulls up the napkin. I ended up taking a blade. I just wanted to show you that option, but I ended up taking a blade and very carefully going around. Better to do this once it's dry so that you don't pull up anything that's, meaning to stay. I'm going to take my off-white paint that I have. You can use any paint you want. And I'm just going to paint around the frame. I thought that would look so pretty. I've got this nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. It is a 3-ply, but I'm just going to keep 2-ply. I'll remove one of the plies. And then I'm just going to twist up the end, and I'm going to glue the end so that it will lay down flatter. Now that I have the end of the rope taken care of, I'm going to line the inside edge of this picture with my hot glue, and I'm going to lay down the twisted double strand part of the rope. And I'm going to put that all the way around the whole inside of that square, and then I'll cut it off and glue it down at the end. And that is it. Didn't that turn out so pretty? I really love this one. And if you wanted to, you could paint the beads white. I just decided not to, and I left the background natural too. What do you think? For this DIY, for the coastal DIY, I'm going to take this picture with a starfish on it. And it's just like the other one, but it's just a different picture. I'm going to take some caulk. Now, I got this at the Dollar Tree, so you can get it there. And I squeezed it out all over the starfish as much as I could get out there. It's a pretty tight squeeze, let me tell you. Anyway, I got it all out eventually. Now I'm just going to spread it around with my finger and try to cover the whole starfish. And then I'll wipe away any excess that got on, the wood that's around it. I wanted to create a texture, and I will tap my finger on it a little bit too. Now I'm going to take my white paint and I'm just going to go around the edges of the frame, and I've got that 3-strand cord, that's nautical rope. I'm going to go ahead and glue the edges, but I'm only going to use a single strand on this one, and I'm going to glue around the inside of the starfish picture and just lay down that single strand of this 3-strand cord rope. Easy for me to say. I think that this particular nautical rope just adds so much to the coastal vibe. I mean, it is a nautical rope after all, right? All right, so now that I've got that all on there, I think that looks amazing. But I want to make the starfish look more like a starfish. So I'm going to take my pumpkin Waverly chalk paint and just use a stippling stencil type brush and just dab it on there. My caulk is dry now, so I can do that. And once I get all of that on there, I'm going to take a little bit of that white again and just very lightly tap over it to dull down the orange a little bit. And I actually think this turned out looking a lot like a real starfish. I did also take a little pointy kind of a tool, and I went in and I peeled out all of the caulking that was inside those little holes on the starfish. I just forgot to turn the camera on for that, but that was very easy to do. I just kind of pulled that out of there. And there goes the white that I'm just kind of lightly tapping on just to kind of make it a little bit more dimensional in color. I didn't want it to be that solid orange. Look at that. I'm so happy with how this turned out. I just think this looks so realistic. It's almost like I glued an actual starfish on there. That's how much I love it. You'll have to let me know what you think. It was so easy to make. And again, it just looks so realistic.
Every change has a reason. Baby, let it come to you. Every soul, every season.
For this coastal DIY, I've got another one of these pictures. This one has a seahorse on it, which I think is absolutely adorable. And what I'm going to do on this is use a collection of different colors, moss, pool, lagoon, and this one is agave. I have in a different container because I love it so much. And I'm going to start just painting different parts of the seahorse in the different colors. And not exactly an ombre, but just kind of a fading of one color into another. So I'm just using a smaller art brush to do it. And then I decided to put the moss at the top above the agave. I wasn't really sure when I started the order I was going to go in. And it's okay if it does get a little bit on the wood because I'm going to use some white wax by Waverly to kind of cover that up. Now I'm going to take the next color and go down and basically just keep doing this until I get all the different colors on the seahorse. You can see what I'm doing there. I'm not worried about what the line looks like right where I start the new color, and I'll show you why in just a minute. So now I'm just going to end with the lightest color of all. I'm going to take some water on a clean brush, and I'm going to go blurring the lines between each of the paint colors, and that's what I'm going to do starting right here. And that way it's just more of a gradual change, so it's not like a block kind of color thing. So I just thought that looked really pretty to just slightly blend them. Now I'm going to take the moss chalk paint. I'm going to paint the whole frame around the outside. I thought that would be a nice color to use, and I only used a little bit of it on the seahorse, but I think it's super pretty and it goes along with it. Now I'm going to take that white wax I mentioned, and I'm just going to very carefully with a teeny tiny art brush go around those edges and in those holes to try to cover up anywhere I might have made a little mistake. And that really does do the trick. And then I'll take a bigger brush and do the rest of the background just to kind of blend it all together. Now I'm going to take some very thin jute, and I'm just going to attach it along that inner portion next to the frame. I just think that really ties this all together and helps contribute to that coastal look, and I really love that finished look there. I thought this one, because it's underwater, like it really needed some kind of seaweed look. So I thought these greenery worked for that. So I just glued some on the one side and a smaller piece on the left side, just to give it that idea like the seahorse is actually floating in the water. And I love this one. It's definitely one of my favorites today. You have to let me know what you think. I do love seahorses. I think they're the most amazing little creatures, and they're so cool to watch. Let me know what you think.
Every change has a reason. Baby, let it come to you. Every soul, every season lives outside.
For this DIY from Dollar Tree in the Coastal Pics, this one's an octopus, which I thought was also very cute. We're going to go very rustic on this one. I'm going to take my Waverly Antique Wax. I'm going to take some more of that thin jute. And what I'm going to do is just start painting the frame around, but I'm going to use it as a stain on the frame. So I'm going to be painting some on and then taking a paper towel and wiping it back. That way you can still see the wood grain through it and it's not quite as dark. And I like that look. It just gives it a little bit more dimension. You can see that right there, how you can start seeing the wood grain when you wipe that back. I'll do that for the whole frame. And I also did the beads on top. I thought that looked really cool on this one. Now I'm just going to very lightly paint the antique wax with a wet brush, and there you go. I did the octopus in the same thing. I'm going to take the jute and I'm just going to line it on the inside of the frame just to kind of tie all of my pieces together to give them that kind of finished coastal look with either jute or nautical rope. And this one was super, super easy, very fast. I am going to paint in that inside the white Waverly wax because I did overpaint a little bit on the octopus, and I thought, okay, let's do that again. And that will just kind of make the octopus stand out a teeny bit more. It's just slightly lighter than the wood, but barely. You can just see the wood right through it. I love using that Waverly white wax. I've noticed that a lot of people don't use it, and I'm just not sure if they don't know what to do with it. But it's basically like the antique wax, but you just do it with white, where you can paint it on, wipe it off, whatever you want. But I do like the look. Unfortunately, it wasn't fully dry when I took the picture, so you can still see some portions of it. But when it dries, you won't even notice it. Let me know what you think of this one. For this solar lantern hack, I'm going to use another one of those $5 Dollar Tree Plus lanterns with the wire. I love them. And I'm going to use this beautiful off-white nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. And then I've also got some pretty twine from Walmart. They have such a good price there. I'm going to prepare my rope by getting rid of the plastic on the ends. And because it's a 3-strand cord, I am going to separate it down to 1 strand. That's what I want to use for this. Otherwise, it would be extremely thick. I'm going to go to the bottom of the lantern and I'm going to hot glue the end and start wrapping it around that circle at the very bottom. And I'll continue that, and every so often I'll drop a little bit of hot glue on there just to secure it, but you don't have to do it at every turn around. When I get to the end, I will just add some more hot glue and roll that over the top so that there aren't any little pieces left. Now I'm going to go up to the top of the lantern with that same white nautical rope, and I'm just going to glue it around, not twisting it, but just around that kind of circle at the top where the solar panel is. And now you can see I've got both. Now I'm going to take the twine from Walmart and I'm going to go up and down each of the wires all the way around. Now, it did take a little bit of time. I probably went around 3 times and then added glue, and then 3 more times and added glue just to make it go faster. And I just put on a cute little crafting video and enjoyed myself, or listened to an audiobook, whatever you like. Do any of you listen to audiobooks? I've really been enjoying that. If you have any good recommendations, let me know. And when you run out, you just add another piece by putting it on and squishing it down so you don't see the end, and just continue to wrap. It's that easy. There it is, all wrapped. Now, I did decide to wrap the handle in the white nautical rope. I'm not sure if I should have, but I kind of thought it looked better if that was also wrapped in the rope. So you do whatever you want. I did go ahead and do that. I think that these solar lanterns are so cool to craft with. They are so flexible. Look how beautiful this is. It's very coastal looking. I really, really like it. It will be fun to put outside on a patio, especially, or by a pool. Tree solar lantern DIY. I've got another one of those $5 solar lanterns, and I've got these two beach ball drinking kind of plastic drinking cups. And I thought this would be so cute for around the pool because, you know, it's not really something you have to worry too much about. I'm going to actually attach two of these beach balls together on the two bottoms, and I'll just kind of turn them so that the right colors are showing the way that I think it looks the best. And I'm going to do Fix-All and hot glue and wait for that to set up. Then I'm going to take some masking tape and I'm going to cover that solar panel. I don't want anything to happen to it while I'm painting this because we are going to spray paint this one with the white Rust-Oleum paint, and I just want to make sure that I don't ruin it. Also, the light bulb, I needed to do that. So I took the bottom of a Dollar Tree shopping bag and I pulled the light bulb out. There's a little piece that goes in it that hangs down. So what you have to do is get your light bulb fully covered by the plastic and then put that piece that's hanging down, it's like a fairy light almost, put that back inside and then roll up your plastic bag so it goes into the light bulb, and then you can screw it back on once you get rid of the lumps. I probably had too much hanging over. I could have used a slightly smaller piece, but I hadn't done this before, so this is how I figured it out. You can screw it back on and that completely protects your light bulb without going to the trouble of using tons of masking tape, and this worked out so well. So I'm going to take it outside and spray it several times with many coats to make sure it's covered, and there it is. So now we can remove the tape and you can see that the solar panel was preserved, and in one moment here you will see the light bulb is perfectly clean. Now, didn't that just work out nicely? I'll replace the little fairy light string right back in and screw in the light bulb. So now that is all prepared. We are going to attach it to the top of the stacked beach balls that were the little drinking cups. And we're going to use Fix-All and hot glue. And this one took a little doing to hold it in place while the hot glue was setting up. So just keep that in mind because it's a round surface and it wants to kind of roll around. So I sat there and held it for quite a while. Now to cover up the glue, I'm going to take some of this thicker nautical rope from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to put one row of it around the inside and one row around the outside of that seam. That way it covers all of the glue and it adds to that coastal look. And I thought this came out really cute. Now you could use the off-white coastal rope if you wanted as well. Now I've got this white and green baker's twine that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to put it in the seam of the two pieces of rope so that you don't see that. And one of the colors on the beach balls is that same green. So I just put that all the way around. This was super easy. Now, I did decide that with that hole on the top, I wanted to add something. So I took a succulent that matched and I pulled off some of the pieces of the leaf so it wasn't quite as large, and I glued them in so it fit perfectly, and look at that. Now we have a cute little coastal beachy kind of a solar light to put in your backyard. You can put it around the pool, or even if you don't have a pool and you just go in for that theme, there you go. House DIY. I got this kind of shorter house. Got these two little pegs I got at Hobby Lobby on sale. They look like little people. And then I've got this kind of 3D decal sticker from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to pull off the top portion of it. I don't really need it to be fully 3D, but I am going to keep that little piece of foam tape on the back and just hot glue it to the very top center of the house. We're going to turn this into a little bit of a coastal kind of a DIY. So I'm going to make one of the little people shorter. So basically that's me. And then the taller one is my husband, because I want to make these two little people. This would be like representing my house. So you could do this however you want, depending on who's in your house. And I'm just going to hot glue each of the little pegs, or old-fashioned clothespins, whatever you want to call them, into the inside, like when you're facing it, the left side of the house. Now I'm going to take this blue and white twine that I got, I believe at Dollar Tree, and make a teeny little bow and put it on me so that we know like that is the female and then the other one is the male. I'm going to start off using hot glue. This didn't work out very well, but I'm going to show you. I tried to put these little white rocks from the Dollar Tree down. Anyway, it really wasn't working. It kept drying too fast. So instead, I used my Aleene's tacky glue and just coated it really well over the whole thing, and then just kept putting rocks in there, pressing them down, adding rocks, pressing them down, and then I'd tap the rocks away. If there was a gap, I'd fill it in and so forth. You get the picture. Anyway, now I'm going to attach this beautiful seashell from the Dollar Tree and a couple pieces of greenery. These came off of a eucalyptus pick that I got on Amazon, but you could get things like this at Dollar Tree, Walmart, wherever they sell, faux greenery. I think it looks so cute. I'm really loving how this one turned out. You'll have to let me know what you think. I feel like it was so easy, and yet it's got the coastal vibe, but it's still homey, and I just think it's adorable. Hope you like it too.
has a reason. Baby, let it come to you.
For this Dollar Tree foam round wreath form, I'm going to use these beautiful kind of coastal themed napkins, and then this ribbon I got. Oh my gosh, it was so cheap, 89 cents. It's a lot of ribbon. And then I've got some more, and that was all from Hobby Lobby. They do have great ribbon when they're on sale. It's a great deal. And then I've got sand dollars and a starfish from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove the plies on the napkins. So what you do is take a piece of tape on the back, and then it makes it really easy to just pull it apart. And this one is a 3-ply, and this one, it kind of pulled apart when I did the first one. I'm literally just going to cut strips. Again, you could do this any way you want. I did find that strips were a nice, easy way to get the wreath covered, and I'm going to use Mod Podge to get it on there. So I'll put Mod Podge on first, and then do pieces of the napkin, and then add Mod Podge over the top. But I'm going to do the top part after, because otherwise my hands are going to get super sticky and it's going to pull the napkin off. So I'm going to try to keep my hands as dry as possible, wiping them in between, and then use my brush to try to help lay down the napkin. See what I'm doing there? That way I don't have to get my fingers super sticky. You really can't use a brayer on a round piece like this. I like that the green showed through a little because it kind of goes with that beachy color scheme. So this worked out. Otherwise, I would have painted the wreath form white first. There it is, all decoupaged. I've got this blue and white twine. I think I got that at Dollar Tree too. I'm going to do a lark's head knot for a hanger, pull it through, tie a knot at the top, and then just cut off the excess. And that way our knot is done and we don't have to forget about our hanger. I'm going to take this Fix-All adhesive and a combination of hot glue, and I'm going to put the starfish and the sand dollars on there. I just want to put it all on one side. Again, this is personal preference. You could decorate this wreath all the way around if you want, whatever you like. So you know when you buy things like rocks and marbles at Dollar Tree, it comes in this kind of netted plastic stuff. I save it. And you know, come on, all of us crafters, we save everything, right? Well, guess what? I knew I'd use it. And doesn't it look like kind of fish netting? And I just glued it on around the back and put it over the starfish and the sand dollar. And I think that adds the coolest summer coastal look. I love it. Anyway, just a little tip there, something you can do with those plastic netted containers. I'm going to take this ribbon and I'm just going to fold it over a bunch of times, you know, twice as many times as you want loops. That's how you do it. And so whatever you want, I think I did it like 4 times or 3 times. So I'd have 2 or 3 loops on each side. Then I'm going to cut it. Now I'm going to take another piece and I'm going to measure out like a tail size. I'm going to hold it up to my wreath and then hot glue it. And that way I don't have to worry about creating a tail out of my bow. I'm not as good at that. So if I do the tail separately, it just makes my life so much easier. And then I'm going to go and dovetail the ends. Just fold them in half and cut a little triangle upward. Now I'm going to take a piece of twine, go right in the center of this, you know, ribbon that I folded in half, tie it really tight, and I'm going to start pulling out the loops. You've got to use wired ribbon for this because you can shape them. If it's not wired ribbon, it doesn't hold its shape as well. So if you do that, I'd recommend smaller, much narrower, smaller ribbon. Anyway, it's starting to look really cute. And just keep, you're going to fuss with this forever. And then I found this ribbon at Hobby Lobby that has little pom-poms on it. I'm going to wrap it around a bunch of times until the pom-poms cover the front. Cut it off, glue it on, and there's the center of my ribbon. I thought it was so pretty, the white to match the starfish and the sand dollar. That's it for this one. You could add more, have less, whatever you want. I think it turned out stunning. Oh my gosh. Even though I put seashells on the side, I could have put them on the wreath. So it's up to you, but I think the colors are gorgeous.
Every change has a reason. Baby, let it come to you.
Last trivet hack, I've got a round trivet, got some different colored rocks from the Dollar Tree and marbles. I've got some starfish and sand dollars, some seashells, and some other rocks. So this is going to be kind of a beachy theme. And I want to show you the little legs on the bottom. On this one, we're going to keep them. So I'm going to start by putting the kind of beige colored marbles on and the white. We're going to start with like the sand on the bottom. I'm creating like a beach scene. And then after we get that on, we'll add some of the white and then we'll put the clear, and we're moving towards like the ocean water. So it's like sand, foam, sea, if you will. So we'll kind of add the clear ones in, and then we'll add some turquoise looking ones, and then we'll add some darker blue ones, and then we'll add a little bit of green just to show like different colors of the waters. So there it is. I think it's beautiful already. And we've got all these little gaps between them. So we're going to put the little white rocks in between on the bottom there. I'm just going to fill each of the gaps with the Aleene's tacky glue and then pour the rocks over and kind of push them down. It'll take a little bit to dry, but it does dry and it comes out just gorgeous. So here we are, just pouring the rocks on, rubbing them down. And of course, a lot of them will fall off, and that's okay. Then I'll put them back on in the spots where I still see glue and just keep repeating that until I get all of the little holes filled in with the rocks. And then I'll tip it on its side and kind of let the excess ones fall off. And then that way we'll make sure if I see any holes that I need to fill in. I'm going to take the blue ones and do the same thing with the upper part. So there it is. They're all finished now. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, what a nice way to fill them in. So I'm going to take one of the starfish. I decided I'm not going to use a sand dollar on this one. I had them both out just in case, but we're going to attach a starfish. We're going to pick a seashell or two that I really like, that I think will be really pretty on here, and attach those towards the sand. I just wanted to add a little extra, accent to it and give it more of that beachy look. Some of you know, because I've mentioned it before, but my bedroom is decorated in a coastal theme. So this will end up in there. But I love that theme. I don't want my whole house to be like that, but I just love having one room, and especially the bedroom keeps it very peaceful. So these are all just going to get hot glued on with a lot of hot glue to make sure they're very secure. And of course you can use E6000 or super glue, whatever you want. I think this one has turned out gorgeous. It might be my favorite today. You have to let me know what you think. It was actually very easy and quick to make because it just lays flat, so the glue will just dry as you're going. So let me know what you think. Are you ready for more inspiration? I've got another video here I think you will really like. Click on it. I will see you there. You are truly a blessing to me. Bye.